In 1978, the Yamaha CA2010 was born. With a power output of 120 watts per channel into 8 ohms using Class AB operation and 30 watts per channel in Class A, this beast of an amplifier was made to kick down walls and blow doors off hinges. The power section of the CA2010 makes true DC performance to 0 Hz a reality, featuring ultra-low distortion first-stage Yamaha dual FET differential amplification, parallel push-pull circuitry, and single-ended push-pull output. Yamaha also included a superb sounding moving magnet and moving coil phono section using low noise FETs featuring a single-ended push-pull output stage configuration, giving signal-to-noise ratios of 96 decibels, and phonodynamic range up to 310 millivolts and RIAA deviation within 0.2 decibels. The 2010 also offers a wide range of low-noise analog tone controls. With a 3-way switch, you can defeat, cut, or boost the frequencies you are looking for and tailor the sound to your liking. For bass throughout the lower mids, the 2010 can cut or boost 125 Hz or 500 Hz. For upper mids and treble town, the Yamaha offers cut and boost handling 2.5 kHz and 8 kHz. Also thrown in, engaging a subsonic filter cuts frequencies below 25 Hz, and a high filter with a steep cut, knocking anything out above 10K. The 2010 also has the ability to work as a preamp or power amp, meaning you can run this bad boy straight to another power amplifier and bypass the power section. Or you can do the opposite and bypass the entire front end and use a totally different preamp. Bottom line, the 2010 is jam-packed with more flexibility than most people would know what to do with. Priced at $800 in 1978, the CA2010 would fetch an easy $3,000 when inflation is taken into consideration, which leads me to mention, in 2015 the Yamaha AS2100 was born. With an MSRP of $39.95 and current price of $34.99, the AS2100 comes with a high dynamic power rating of 105 watts into 8 ohms and maximum power of 160 watts into 4 ohms. This bad mother flower is designed to, well, knock down walls, eat little girly amplifiers for breakfast, and mow down the pathway between you and the music. Tucked away in the heart of the 2100, Yamaha utilizes its own floating and balanced power amplifier technology using MOSFETs. Across all stages, Yamaha is using fully discrete construction, balanced transmission, and a low impedance design. Rounding out the rest of the specs, Yamaha has opted for an electronic volume control, tossed in a large capacity power supply, symmetrical layout for better stereo separation, a discrete phono input handling both moving magnet and moving coil cartridges, and a fully discrete headphone amplifier with trim controls. Like the older 2010, the 2100 also has the ability to work as a preamp or power amp. Things are stacking up to be pretty even across the board when it comes to versatility. Neither amp will win you over with built-in DACs or fancy schmancy crossovers like the recently reviewed Parasound Halo. But hey, not everyone needs versatility, and some folks are only interested in one thing: sound quality. Cased in an elegant design with real wood panels, it's obvious Yamaha isn't messing around, and while everything on paper looks really good, today we're headed straight for the jugular with a fight to the finish. That's right, folks. With a warm welcome back to New Record Day, it's Yamaha vs Yamaha. Looking for an easy way to test the sonics of both of these amps, I decided to use the AVA comparator. This useful tool allows me to switch between both of the amps with the press of a button. Running as the source to the comparator, I am using a VPI Avenger, outfitted with my trusty Dynavector 20X2L and my PASS XP15. I am also using Zoo Audio's Event Mark IIs for all interconnects and Zenwave Audio's incredibly transparent SMSG17 speaker cables pumping blood to my Gallo 3.1s. From the speaker output of both Yamahas to the high-level input of the comparator, I'm using the same zip cord to make sure we aren't giving the upper hand to either amplifier. Alright, enough with the babble. Let's jump right in and talk about the sonic differences between the two amplifiers. Alright, well, I mean, this was actually a lot easier than I thought. Big, bold, and powerful. I mean, pretty much they sound the same, so I guess we're done here. Thanks for stopping by. Do appreciate it. You're not going to let me off the hook, are you? I didn't think so. All right, let's do this. With the older 2010 selected, I dropped the needle on Pearl Jam's Lightning Bolt. Right away, I liked what I was hearing without touching the front panel EQ. Yamaha really does have a tone that I would define as natural sound. Nothing on top sounded exaggerated or over-the-top bright. In fact, what I was hearing in Treble Town was reminiscent of my own reference rig, which is predominantly tubes. Slightly rolled, yet present enough to bring sparkle and shine to the party. Cymbal hits and crashes sounded ballsy, and while aggressive, the 2010 never left me reaching for earmuffs. The more I listened to the 2010, the more I appreciated how well balanced it was on top and rendered air and fine line details. Switching to the newer 2100, I discovered the same overall presentation and tone I heard with the 2010. The 2100 also has a natural way of presenting treble, and while very difficult, I was able to detect one difference between the two Yamaha's top-end extension. The newer 2100 sounded a tad warmer. Let me be clear, when I say a tad, I mean a dash, a smidgen, a teeny tiny bit. Yeah, they are super close on top, and my goodness, I would hate to be the guy blindfolded in this A/B test. Switching things up and trying Adele's 21, the older 2010 brought a powerful mid-range presentation, showing off more detail throughout the vocal arrangements than expected, and rendered piano with plenty of meat on the bones. Someone familiar might think that I'm describing a tube amplifier right now, but gosh darn it, that's exactly what I'm hearing. While not as holographic as some tube offerings, the mid-range is definitely forward and provides a wall of sound without smearing. As Love's song kicked in, I was able to hear each and every instrument without any noticeable smearing or bloated nonsense. No, folks, what I was hearing in this 30-year-old machine was beautifully rendered music. Simple as that. Trying out the same tracks on the newer 2100, I started to feel like this review was a bad idea to begin with due to the fact that I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. The 2100 also has a forward mid-range with enough body and texture to fool someone into thinking that there's glowing glass tucked away somewhere in the heart of its belly. But alas, no tubes, folks. Just a nice natural sound that's easy to listen to for hours on end. Switching back and forth on the fly using the A/B comparator, I noticed that while neither Yamaha can be described as euphoric, I do believe the older 2010 to sound a little more magical in the mid-range, with a smidge more refinement and texture. Don't get me wrong here, both of these amplifiers offer amazing mid-range. While it might seem strange that a 30-year-old receiver can pick a fight with something brand new, well, yeah, I'm pretty baffled myself, and you're invited to make your way to Mesa, Arizona and stop by for a few minutes. You won't believe what you're hearing. Trying out Bella Fleck's Fly to the Cosmic Hippo, the 2010 did a fantastic job of delivering serious enough bass to reassure this is where well-designed solid state really loves to show off. As I heard the lowest octaves pour out into my listening space, I was sold that the 2010 is capable of pleasing any bass junkie out there. The bass hits hard, fast, and even on busier transitions, I never heard the effects of the woofers not being able to keep up with the music. Trying out Bella with the 2100, the bass hit with the same intensity of the older 2010, but dug slightly deeper, scraping the bottom of the barrel in bass town, barely moving to the lead in the overall race of bass dynamics. I could speculate as to why this might be, but my gut tells me the power supply in the newer 2100 might be better built, or better yet, the 30-year-old capacitors in the older unit might need to be replaced. Either way, a fight is a fight, and this round goes to the 2100. Dropping the needle on Pines of Rome, the older Yamaha immediately sprung into action and controlled this complex recording like a champ. Staging was not only wide and deep, it was controlled and natural sounding with very good separation between each and every single musician. Each instrument in the recording was rendered well, and while not the absolute best I've heard in my room, it was easily on the same playing field. Again, with total control, the newer 2100 wrapped its hands around the performance and did a fantastic job of organizing every little sonic treat rendered on the recording. In this showdown, I do feel like the newer 2100 handled instrument separation with more laser line precision and offered slightly blacker backgrounds, making it easier to hear the stage being offered up. Bottom line, both amplifiers delivered the goods across the entire audio spectrum. And the differences here are so small that if we're going to be looking for a real victor in this battle, we are going to have to get a little creative. Plugging the Avenger directly into the 2010 and selecting the moving coil option, I made my way through the White Stripes Elephant to get an idea of how the built-in phono section sounds. As Seven Nation Army kicked in, I was sort of PO'd, to put it nicely. Why? I'll tell you why. Listening to the rest of the album made me realize just how crappy most integrated phono sections are in modern gear. Why the heck these manufacturers can't seem to pull off what these guys were doing 30 years ago? Well, it's beyond me. To be clear and get to the point quickly, it's much closer to my own reference gear than I care to talk about. How's that for hyperbole? Jumping over to the newer 2100, I thought to myself, yeah, this is it. This has got to be where Yamaha dropped the ball. I mean, besides that hipster wannabe reviewer from New Record Day, who's really going to notice if Team Yami cut a couple of corners when it comes to spinning the black circle? Well, folks, sorry to disappoint in the drama department, but that's not the case here. The built-in phono of the 2100 is every bit as good as the older 2010 that I love so much. While there are no loading options or the ability to adapt to every single cartridge on planet Earth, you are going to have what's needed for 90% of what's available in moving magnet and moving coil offerings. As the Yamaha battle entered the 12th round, in both units standing tall without an ounce of exhaustion noticeable coming from either corner, I decided there is one more thing we can do to determine a real winner. Grabbing some LCD2s the fine folks at Odyssey sent over, I plugged into the older Yamaha and dropped the needle on Elephant. With the older Yamaha, I heard a ton of detail right off the bat. Trickling down throughout the mid-range, crisp and airy textures certainly help bring some sparkle to the smoother sounding Odysseys. On dynamic and complex passages with the volume turned up, I heard a good amount of more treble bite and mid-range grit than I prefer to listen to for longer listening sessions. However, I was enthusiastically impressed how well the 2010 manhandled the Odysseys and drove them without a hitch. Powerful? Yeah, that's the 2010's name, first, middle, and last, and don't you dare forget it. Swapping to the newer 2100, I finally heard a difference in tone between the two amps that was worth chatting about for a few minutes. Across the entire band, everything thrown at me was smoother and easier on the eardrums. Yeah, this is one heck of a headphones section and bests every other headphones section I have ever heard stuffed inside an integrated amplifier. Cymbal hits are ballsy but not edgy or brittle. Snares pop and cut through the mix. Toms and floor toms thump with natural, organic quality of attack. Electric guitars are raspy in all the good ways. offering excitement without sounding contrived or over-the-top edgy. Vocals sounded robust with plenty of meat on the bones. Yeah, baby, this is the good stuff right here, the real good stuff. Well, folks, there you have it. If you make your way through your local Goodwills and find yourself asking the question, with a little love, will this silver-faced receiver breathe life back into my music? Chances are the answer is yes, especially if you're lucky enough to be staring down the likes of a Yamaha CA2010. Offering a bit more versatility with its tone circuit, I like the controls of the older 2010 more than the newer 2100's bass and treble knobs. Also, for those who want to dabble with Class A, the 2010 can do this with the flick of a switch. Granted, the difference in sound was so tough to distinguish, I wouldn't rush out and go for the 2010 based on that feature alone. As for the rest of you that aren't excited by the idea of thrift store hunting or concerned about the cost of repairs if needed, the Yamaha AS2100 is the best sounding integrated amplifier that I have ever reviewed. While the sonic differences were too close to call between the two Yammies, I would be looking for other reasons to get the AS2100, and trust me, there are many. Something as simple as the binding posts on the back is a good place to start. Developed by Yamaha, they offer connections for any kind of speaker cable you can think of, and just when you thought that your posts were too big for spades. Well, take a look at that. Yeah, these guys thought of it all. Next, the headphone section is silly good. How good? Bonkers good. Last, knowing the reliability being witnessed with the older unit, the 2100 is a piece that you could enjoy for the rest of your life and even pass down to loved ones if you so desire. For those that watch the Parasound Halo review that are willing to skip all the versatility that the Halo offers, the Yamaha 2100 is the amplifier for you. Currently priced at $3,500, the value is there and easily keeps up with my reference gear costing 3 times that price. Was there a clear winner in this battle? Yeah, there was a winner, and it was Yamaha. Old or new, both amps are worthy of celebration, and the bottom line comes down to this. What Yamaha accomplished 30 years ago is still being practiced today. They know music, natural sounding music. They have their finger on the pulse of hi-fi, and you better believe me when I say this. They deserve the highest possible recommendation New Record Day can give. Well done, Team Yamaha. Well done.